Welcome into the Beat Sessions. I am your host, Mitchell Weary. It is Friday, July 30th, a day that I'm willing to bet has been marked on many of your calendars for a while now because it marks the release of the new Billie Eilish record entitled Happier Than Ever. This is her sophomore album, follows her massively successful debut, 2019's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? I love that album title and that record in its entirety. What a gem. The sinister playfulness that drives that record was one of the first things I noticed about it. Always been a fan of bands like The Cure, Interpol. Everybody needs a little bit of the macabre in their life. So I love that about Billie's debut and just her uncanny ability to blend a strong vocal hook and melody together. She's got that skill for days. It's on full display on Happier Than Ever. This album, however, it's got a lot of similarities. Brother Phineas is back on production. So we'll get into the music here in just a moment. But this album, the playfulness is kind of gone. We're kind of experiencing someone growing up right before our eyes and in a very harsh, brutal environment. For as much success as she has had in the last 2 years, I can't imagine that all the negativity, all the BS that Billie has had to block out and overcome has been easy to deal with. Whether it's douchey boyfriends that she's talking about on this new record, the paparazzi hounding her, all the idiots from all angles hypersexualizing her image, telling her she's wearing too much. Now she's too scantily clad as she promotes this new record. It's just so disgusting how vapid people are, how quick they are to look past an individual and their artistic talent, which is what they bring to the table. It's why they're there in the first place. And to just sit there and judge them for things that don't matter. It's what I love about Billie. I can't imagine that it's been easy for her. I think of a young woman like Olivia Rodrigo as well, who's really demonstrated a lot of maturity and a lot of equanimity. But kudos to both of them. Billie, kudos to you on this record for, showing that strength and demonstrating that, being a role model not just for young women, but for people across the country in learning to love yourself. That's what's cool about this record. The title is kind of misleading in a way. This record is about getting to that end result, about being happier than ever. But this record explores all those struggles, all those battles that she faced in blocking out that negativity and learning to overcome that and love herself in the last 2 years. Again, especially as a teenager, as a young person, learning to develop that type of self-esteem in the face of all these social media platforms and all the different things that people could possibly say to you. She's just very impressive in that regard. So again, I'm really excited to watch her career unfold. And I'm stoked for her to be such an awesome role model for so many people in our country that need someone to look to see how that confidence is built, to demonstrate that attitude and how you build that positivity. Brother Phineas back on production, so you get this laid back, kind of subdued electronic vibe that carries this record. But there's a little more as far as the musical genre and elements that she's incorporating into this record. A lot of it still reminds me of Portishead when I listen to her. I really dig that about her style as well. This album opens with Getting Older. It's got this Beatlesque feel, simple keyboard that it really just sounds like an organ, but it's her vocal dealing with getting older and all that harsh criticism that has come along with. It's kind of ironic when you think about the title and she's only 19, how much she has had to grow up in the last 2 years. So I'm loving her songwriting ability, her ability to approach, situations from all angles. The wordplay is great, on fire, and this is just a great example of what you're going to get throughout the rest of this album. I didn't change my number. That wit starts to come into play. You get kind of this hip-hop feel, simple organ and drum beat that drives that track. Third song is Billie Bossa Nova, and Bossa Nova is a genre that works so well with the style that she has established with her brother. I'm absolutely loving that song. It is one of my favorites for that reason. Works so well. My Future, love the way it builds slow and then, just kind of, picks up and finishes strong in the coda. It's kind of like a mini version of Diana Ross' Love Hangover. It's kind of what it reminds me of as far as the structure of it. Oxytocin, the fifth song, just great electronic song. It's just kind of a banger, honestly. Definitely one of the kicking tracks on this record. Goldwing, the sixth track, has got this great chant, this chorus opening, this vocal that and a lot happens in this short song. I think it's like 2.5 minutes long. Breaks down halfway into it, and then it's just again got this big closing part. It's a really cool structure to the song, and she's just having a lot of fun experimenting with that. Leads into Lost Cause, which Strong Portishead feel. Sultry melody. I think it's probably one of her best vocal hooks on this record. I will say, as this thing goes towards the end, it starts to drag a little bit. And Brother Phineas, for as strong as his production is throughout, her career and some of the other stuff that he's worked on, there's some points that I kind of turned my head on this record. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed it, but the vocal on Your Power, like the first time I heard that song, I listened to the vocal kick in because the intro is nice and gentle, and the vocal just seems like it's too much. It seems way overproduced. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I didn't really dig that at all. And then Happier Than Ever, I like what's going on there, but the production as that song gets heavy, it's cool, but it feels out of place. This song doesn't, and it's the title track too, which, I mean, I hate to say it, but the grungy, rough production that goes along with the end of that song really it runs counter to basically anything and everything that's going on this record. And 56 minutes and 16 songs. This thing is a little on the long side. Some of those production things on the end of this record, I mean, I really love the first half of this record. It is so strong. And I'm kind of bummed with the way it fizzles out at the end. Honestly, this thing, it's going to be on a double LP with the runtime. There's no avoiding that. I kind of wish someone could just cut it in half for me and give me the front half of it, because I mean, I'm on the fence. I kind of have hangups about buying this double LP because I'm just not crazy about the continuity of the back end of the record. Not My Responsibility is also an amazing track. The video that she did with that, it's the statement that she makes is amazing, and I love it. But I think it's one of those things where it should stand alone. I think it would be something that's cool to incorporate into live shows, as she did, as she introduced it. But there's something about it on this record too that just, it feels out of place. And again, with that long runtime, I don't know. I think in the future, as solid as this record is, I love it. I'm gonna pass on the vinyl probably because it's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be a double LP, and I'm just not that crazy about the second half. And I truly think Billie would probably benefit from working with someone different in the future. Who knows? Maybe Jack Antonoff. I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. But as impressive as this record is, as much growth as she's shown on this record, I think there's also, the evidence of the limitations that are there with continuing to work with her brother. And I would like to see her branch off of that. So I definitely recommend listening to this record. The first half of it especially is phenomenal. I am passing on the vinyl, unfortunately. That back half I'm not a fan of it enough yet. Maybe down the road I'll start to dig it. I don't know. But I hope you find this review helpful. I hope you enjoy listening to this record as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, check out the live show when it returns on September 12th, and we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.